Hello Pisces, Elsie here to do your reading. It is for the week ahead, friends. How are you? Thank you so much for showing up here, my two fishes friends. Pisces, we have one deck we're using today, the Oracle deck, and then we're going to use Tarot, and we're going to clarify, and I'm always reading for the week ahead. So you already know that if you've been here before, and if you have been here before, thank you for coming back here, Pisces. If you are brand new and you haven't been here before, welcome, welcome. I hope that you will stay. And yeah, we're always reading for the week ahead around here. So let's find out what's going on for you, Pisces. My water family, let's find out what's going on for you in the week ahead, Pisces. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. We've got reproach and forgiveness. Okay, so reproach, that's about feeling terrible, like feeling like someone has done something wrong. And how can I explain reproach? Reproach is telling someone or not agreeing with the way someone lives their life, the way that they are, and it's like you have reproach for that. It's not something that's good, I would say. We have forgiveness here, though, and this is like a new day. It's like a breakthrough energy here. Card number 19 is the Sun, and we have forgiveness, and I feel like there is somebody here that you have reproach for. Somebody who hurt you, somebody who lied to you possibly. Like this is somebody who you have reproach for because of something that they've done to you that you don't agree with. And so the forgiveness here, though, is super huge. It feels like it's a karmic situation likely. And I feel like you hear through a friend or a friend of a friend that this person that you have this reproach for is someone who's not doing very well. I think, though, that this person was probably a karmic connection, whether we're talking about romantic or platonic. Look, there are platonic karmic connections as well. These are people who used to be your friends that are no longer your friends. Karmic simply means that they're here only with the purpose of teaching you a lesson, and then they leave your life. So I feel like you have reproach because I feel like in learning whatever lesson that this person came to teach you, when they brought you the karmic message, I feel like they went out in hellfire. I'm going to say, like, it feels like they hurt you or something went really sideways. Let's talk about that and find out what is going on here. Tell me about Pisces. I feel like you're going to be giving this person forgiveness, or look, the thing is forgiveness isn't always calling up the person and saying, I forgive you, even though you're a jerk. That doesn't have to happen that way. You can just silently within yourself say, you know what, I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm just not going to think about it anymore. I'm just going to realize that person did what they did with the amount of knowledge that they had at the time. Sometimes we have to do that with our parents. I'm just saying that, they gave us the knowledge that they had at the time. They used that and it didn't work out really well. I think that this is the forgiveness part of it. So I feel like, we'll clarify that and we'll talk about it more. Tell me about this reproach. Why do you have reproach for somebody here? Could be even a job, right? Maybe you keep telling people whenever you see whoever will listen, look, you don't want to work for that company. They suck. It could be that. Tell me about reproach. Tell me what we need to know about Pisces, please. Reproach for the week ahead. We've got the Three of Swords. There it is. The Wheel. And Justice. Interesting. Listen, I feel like you have reproach for this person, and rightfully so. I'm not telling you not to, because it feels like they did something terrible to you. But I want to say that the reason that this person, how can I say? I feel like this person did break your heart, for instance. I want to say with the Three of Swords that they disappointed you terribly or broke your heart, did something really awful, I'm going to say. But it was for the purpose of moving you forward. And I know that sounds a little left up. I know it does, but the Wheel of Fortune is here. This was supposed to happen in divine timing. Now, it's never a happy time when somebody takes advantage of us, lies to us, deceives us. But I feel like this person did break your heart. It could be romantically. It doesn't have to be in a job, doesn't have to be in a friendship, but it could be. The Wheel of Fortune, when the Wheel of Fortune shows up, it's because there needs to be great change in your life. Now look, I'm just going to throw out a scenario, Pisces. You're someone who is very trusting. And so maybe this was a lesson to stop trusting everybody. That's the karmic lesson here. When this person showed up and broke your heart, the lesson is stop trusting everybody right away. So I know sometimes I do that. I'm a Pisces moon. And sometimes it's just sort of innate for me to trust people, and then I get burnt later, and then I realize, oh, okay, well, there's the lesson. I'm not supposed to trust everybody. Justice is here. Look, I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune and Justice here, it does tell me that you did change your mind, you did get your stability back, you learned your lesson, you cleared your karma, and I feel like now you still are left with this feeling of reproach with this person. I'll never trust like that again. I'll never trust that person for sure. And anybody who asks you about that person, you might not have a good word to say about it. But I feel like this was meant to propel you forward. It was meant to help you change. It happened in divine timing. And I do feel that you have recovered from it because the Justice card is here. But I feel like it definitely taught you a karmic lesson about trusting. We do have the Moon energy. Yes. We have, there we go, the Lovers is here. And then we have the Two of Cups. Look, sometimes we get to this place where we're calling everybody our soulmate because we want to let everybody know, virtue signal to everyone else, I have a soulmate, you have a karmic. Like, people use it as sort of a hierarchy thing, right? And I feel like that possibly this person was a karmic soulmate. It does feel like they did come into your life. There was probably a dating situation. Maybe you were married. I don't know. But the Lovers is here with the Two of Cups. So it was, on your end, it was a very deep connection. But look, Pisces, you connect to everybody deeply. Everybody. So I feel like it wasn't really hard for you to connect very deeply because the Moon energy is here. But what you didn't see is that this person was simply here in your life to teach you a karmic lesson. And I feel like you did learn it because Justice is here. So it does feel like this is somebody here that you have reproach for. And we need to talk, well, we've got the Empress. Look, this person leveled you up. This situation, whatever happened here that was terrible, leveled you up. This actually sounds like the reading I just did for Scorpio. It feels like this is something that leveled you up, moved you forward. You did move forward and became, happier after the heartbreak or the heartache, but it does feel like, it still lingers with you because the Moon energy is here. I feel like you still don't understand what the reason was that this person hurt you like this. What was the whole point of it? And so we need to know, I'm going to ask, why are you left with this energy of reproach? Why did this person have to come into your life? I feel like it was so you would stop trusting everybody here. This person didn't give you very much energy on the surface. They are somebody who is very, I would say they were quite stoic. They are somebody with the Two of Swords that they didn't really let you all the way into their life. This is somebody who I feel was very guarded with you. Somebody who maybe traveled for work or traveled for a living possibly. It feels like it ended up being a situation where there was some things going on under the surface that weren't as they seemed because the Moon energy is here. And while this person was, doing this with you, they were also in the Two of Cups with somebody else. It does feel like a situation where you were betrayed. But I also feel like you recovered from it. The Two of Wands tells me it was this person's decision to do this. I'm not even buying them a break, Pisces. It feels like it was a decision. But I want to say that this person, some of the red flags maybe that you missed, she's wearing a red dress, Justice is, right? Some of the red flags you may have missed are that this person wouldn't really let you into their life deeply. They wouldn't give you access to the deep emotions that they had, or they could not access their deep emotions. So I feel like because you connected to them deeply, that you felt as though there was a potential for them to connect to you deeply, but they never did. And I feel like although you felt like this person was a soulmate, and I think you may have been right, I feel like the whole point of it was for a karmic lesson, is what it feels like here. I feel like maybe it's taken you some time, but I feel like in the week ahead, look, this could be years that you've been in this place of not being able to ever trust anybody again, or not being able to connect with people deeply anymore after that. But I feel like reprieve is coming because card number 19 is the Sun, and the Sun in tarot is about the breakthrough. We do have forgiveness here, and I feel like you come to a place of healing because we saw the Empress at the bottom of the deck. You come to a place in your healing where you realize that people can only do what they can do from the level that they understand. And so somebody who doesn't understand deep connection cannot give you deep connection. Somebody who's not willing to show their feelings, because I don't think that this person was able to connect deeply with anyone, not just you, because the Two of Swords is here with the King of Cups. I don't feel like this person was able to connect deeply with anyone. I think it was all surface level. Two of Wands. I think it was all surface level, and I think that although you connected deeply, they weren't connected deeply to you. I think that you found the potential, that I feel like you fell in love with potential here is what it is. Tell me about this forgiveness process, and how does this breakthrough come in the week ahead? I feel like for some of you, this is the healing that you've needed after being hurt really bad by someone here. And it's taken quite some time, because the Knight of Pentacles is here with the Six of Pentacles. It feels like almost like a bargaining with the self. It feels like you've been going through this energy of bargaining with yourself. Oh, maybe they didn't mean to do it, or you know what I mean? Like bargaining with yourself so you can feel like you weren't taken advantage of. But it feels like you were taken advantage of. Somebody took advantage of your kindness. And we've got the Chariot here. Look, I feel like you are having movement here. Movement, and I feel like the victory part of this here, or the victory or success, is in the forgiveness. And so forgiveness is for you. It's not for them. You don't need to call them up and say, I forgive you. The forgiveness is for you. And so I feel like you are just going to release it, release them, because I feel like you've been carrying this around for a really long time, analyzing it, overanalyzing it, reassessing it. Was there something I could have done differently? I think that you're in this place, Pisces, of blaming yourself. And I think that this, you're realizing now that it had nothing to do with you. It had to do with the fact that this person could not access their feelings deeply, that they were a very surface level person. They never learned to love as deeply as you did. And you connected to them in a way that they weren't able to connect back to you. And that's what I mean by people who, they can only give us the energy in which they have learned that. Intellectual people, for instance, right? Sometimes we have different levels of education. Somebody who's got a doctorate is very different in their education as to someone who's only had high school. And that's not to say that any one is better than the other, but there is a difference in vibration there. And so I feel like there is this forgiveness now that you're coming to, because you're in this higher level of vibration, and you're realizing, I got to stop overanalyzing it. I got to stop bargaining with myself about the reasons why I think you just need to give the forgiveness and realize that it's kind of like when Christ was on the cross, right? Yeah, forgive them. They know not what they do. This person was in Snoozeville walking around bumping into things. This isn't somebody who was awake. And you only know that when you come to the place where you now are aware. When you have self-awareness, then you can realize what went on back there. And that's when you begin to give the forgiveness, because you realize it could never have been any other way. You actually start to be thankful for this. When you get to a certain level of forgiveness, a certain level of awareness, you start to be grateful for the lesson that came, because now you're never going to trust anybody jumping in immediately head first, right? We've got the Nine of Wands here. So for the longest time, with the Knight of Pentacles, for the longest time here, you felt like the wounded warrior. We have the Page of Swords, but you did a lot of learning, investigation. Look, it's really, really important to get the lesson. When things happen to us, and things happen to us without our consent, right? And it's... when people break our hearts, or whatever they do to us, that they do us dirty, or whatever it is, things happen to us that, it's not within our consent. We don't say, yeah, come on in and crash and burn my life. It feels like with this this Page of Swords here, this is the one who is malleable of the mind and is willing to learn, gains the knowledge, does the digging up of the information. And I feel like here, Pisces, that you realize that you needed to learn the lesson. Otherwise, it's just suffering. You can suffer through it, and you can be bitter and angry and pissed off, or you can get the lesson and realize this was a karmic, and be grateful that this karmic showed up to teach you the lesson that you ended up learning here. So I feel like for a long time you wandered about in this wounded warrior energy, but once you come to this Page of Swords, I feel like it's a breakthrough for you. The Five of Wands is here. You no longer are beating yourself up. In fact, I feel like you are healed. You start thinking, but this person brought me to the awareness of my higher self. They brought me to the awareness of, I'm never going to do that to anyone. I'm always going to do the right thing. you know, I grew up with parents that were terrible, and I'm kind of grateful at this point that they were such terrible parents, because I became this person who is truly the Hierophant, who is the teacher, and I have all these lessons, and had they not been terrible parents, I wouldn't have all these lessons. And so this could be a family situation. It doesn't have to be love. It has to be, it's about deep connection and soulmate energy. So the Five of Wands is here, and that's about the place where we are beating ourselves up, feeling like this person put us in competition. It feels like you definitely have come to this place of soft awareness, I'm going to say, with the Page of Pentacles being here. It materializes as the Hierophant energy in the 3D here. You become this teacher of wisdom, the things that you've learned, and always doing the right thing and bringing peace, right? Holding, this person is holding this peace sign up, right? Always trying to bring peace to the lives of people. You've decided just to let this chapter go. That was a chapter that was supposed to teach you about how to get stability in your life, how to get stability of the mind, how to make better decisions about who you're letting into your life and who you're not letting into your life. And we're going to go into the extended, and we are going to talk more about this, because I want to say, for those of you who aren't quite sure who I'm speaking of, I'm going to get more information. We've got Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer here, but I feel like it could be a water sign, but that also, it feels like that it's just representative really of somebody who could not access their deep feelings. And so I don't know that that's definitely the person we're talking about. It could be a Libra, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo that we're talking about. But it feels like this lesson of heartbreak feels like it brought you to this place of reproach and to a place of shadow work. And we're going to talk more about that. We're going to talk about the advice here. Tell me about the advice that we're giving Pisces in the extended. We've got the Queen of Swords. Oh, kind of love that. The Queen of Swords is here with the Sun and the Four of Pentacles. Oh gosh, this is the third time today, y'all. I'm just going to say, for me, when the Queen of Swords shows up with the Empress, it's because this was the last lesson to learn. It's something that keeps showing up for me over and over as a reader, that when the Empress shows up, it's usually when we're in the midst of learning a lesson, is that the person who you have reproach for, the one that hurt you really bad, is the person who leveled you up to be the Empress, and through the Queen of Swords, because it forced you to stand up for yourself, be honest and truthful, give this person the sharp words, take the emotion out of it and say, look, it feels like you, with the Queen of Swords, this is what brought you the breakthrough. That's card 19, which is right here, which is the forgiveness. We've got the Four of Pentacles. I'm not going to talk to you again, but I'm just going to quietly give you the forgiveness. And in that, I'm not going to give you my energy, my time, or my money. I'm not giving you anything else. I'm just going to give you, quite simply, silence is what it feels like here. We're going to pull one more card. If you want to come into the extended, please do that. There is a link below this video at the very top of all the comments. Please look there if you want to come and join us in the membership area. And there's also a link there to Hypsee if you wish to book me for either a live or a pre-recorded reading. Please know that I'm also on TikTok if you guys want to come join me on TikTok. Let's find out what else we're talking about here. We've got the Three of Wands. So how are you now moving into the future? What are you doing differently now that you did back, that you learned the lesson now? What are you doing differently moving into the future? Because I feel like there is a lot of learning that you're doing here about it's not always you, Pisces. It's not always you that needs to beat yourself up. Maybe the problem lies with this person who never was able to access their feelings, no matter what relationship they're in. Just be glad that they're on their way and that you've released it and given forgiveness. But I really do believe that we got to be grateful for the karmics, man, because they teach us so much stuff. Look, you ended up in the Ten of Cups, and this person ends up in this place where someone still has not taught them how to access their feelings. We're going to go into the extended. If you'd like to be there, that's where we'll be. And if this is where we part ways, then that's cool too. I'll be back, of course, Pisces, as I always am. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll be back. I hope you will be too. Bye-bye.